Hi, welcome to Alaskan in the Philippines, currently in Thailand. Today I thought I'd talk about some foods that you may encounter in Asia or a diet, your diet limitations of what you may be able to find in certain parts of Asia. Will it clash with what you eat, and will you be able to find something to eat? That's kind of something to consider. Depends on where you are, of course, but if you move into the Philippines, and you're staying in a big city, you're probably going to have restaurants and stuff, plenty of them, and they'll be around. You'll have McDonald's, and I don't know if they have Burger King there. I don't remember seeing Burger King. They probably do somewhere. I know they have McDonald's in for say Dumaguete, for instance. But there'll be plenty of restaurants. But if you ever get off the beaten path there and get out off the skirts of the town or something, or even just like where I was out in Kandawai, your food choices were very limited. There was really nothing there. You had street vendor food, and that was it. Really, they have small sari stores. They really don't smell. They sell dried noodles and canned sardines and things like that. Some canned goods and sauces and things. But otherwise, it'll be street food vendors along the street that'll be selling things like soup and rice. They'll have like cooked blood and chopped meat together, and that'll be put on rice. They'll have adobo and different fish soups and stuff. And they'll have little tables you can sit down right there and eat. It'll be real cheap food. Or they have the tondo, which is the barbecue. I think it's tondo, something like that. It's the skewers, the shish kebabs, and that's generally chicken parts. The guts are weaved in. You'll see in the thumbnail, that's what those are. That's very common, that type of barbecue. They'll barbecue chicken too. Even the heads, the feet, they'll have those barbecued on those skewers just like that. You'll see them if you look around. And that's all there is in once you get out of the towns. That's all there is, these small little stands set up, street food vendors in soups and stuff. You can sit there and eat or take it away. They'll give it to you in a plastic bag of soup or whatever, whatever's there. They'll give it to you on a dish and let you eat it or give it into a package sometimes. But yeah, and I don't know if you're used to a Western diet, it's going to be kind of hard for you to just eat the street food there. You're going to have to, if you're out in the boonies, you're going to be wanting to go into town or do what I did. I cooked for myself, That's exactly what I did. I went into town and I bought food and cooked it there at my apartment. Luckily, I had a good kitchen set up there. It had propane gas and everything. Out on the porch too. It was a very great setup. I liked it. I want to have a propane here too. But yeah, and then I could cook. I could go to the store. But then keep in mind again, they sold in my area. I could buy fish, but it was always just laid out on the table. It was not iced at all in the mornings, and they'd be there in the evenings too. There'd be fish out there sitting in the evening. They'd be waving the flies away from it, and there'd be a spinner above it to keep the flies away. There'd still be flies landing on it, of course. And they'd sell it like that. Pork too. They would chop up a pig in the morning. It's when they'd sell it all morning. Usually if you wanted it, you get it early when it's fresh. So yeah, it's unrefrigerated, and you're gonna have to go up. There's been flies on that fish, I guarantee. You go up, you'll see there's still some flies hanging around, but they'll try their best to keep them off them. And it's sold quickly generally, but yeah, you better watch that. And if that's something you can't stomach, you may have a hard time living in the Philippines, because that's how they sell their fish and chicken and stuff too. They'll bag up the chickens and they're sitting right up out on a counter. They're not iced or anything, and that's, you buy a chicken in a bag that's butchered raw, and you're gonna have to take your chances because it's been sitting there in the sun. I really was scared to buy it like that, so I never did. I always went to Lee Plaza, and in Lee Plaza, I don't even think it's refrigerated where they chop it out and lay it out. I don't think it is. It looks kind of like a cooler, but I don't think there's refrigeration in it. They just sell it so quick. It comes right out of the cooler, so it's cold, and when they put it out is what it is, I believe. I don't see it really giving off any cool air. But you can tell them a kilo of pork, a kilo of fish, go right down, and they have different cuts, mostly pork. You better get used to pork if you're living in Asia, That's one thing they eat. It's beef is uncommon, and it's good if you find good beef. I hear everybody complain about it, but I don't mind it. I think it's great. It's probably healthier for you. It's grass-fed, probably, I think. Or the good beef with the fat, it all comes from Australia, and that is good beef too. When you look for steaks, you find the Australian meat. That's really good. That's all you'll find in Asia. You won't find American New York steaks or nothing like that. You could probably find, in Dumaguete, they had a place that catered to foreigners, and I think it was U.S. beef there. I could be wrong. But anyway, yeah, so if you're out in the boonies there, that's kind of your limitations on what you're going to have to eat is just going to be the street food. They'll always have little Crispy Kings, that's fried chicken joints that can buy the fried chicken, and it's good. It's cheap. I forget, it's real cheap. You can buy a piece for like 30 cents or something like that. 40 cents a piece of chicken. And it's good, crispy, like sort of like KFC. And they have KFC there too. But then again, there's only that in the cities. So keep in mind, if you're not directly in the city, you're going to have to make a trip into the city to have those comfort foods if that's what you want and live by. You got to have it. I used to do it. I'd go in once a week to eat at McDonald's. Excuse me. And I liked it, once in a while. There's pizza joints there. The pizza in the Philippines ain't that good. I could never get a good pizza there. They never cook the crust long enough. It's kind of doughy. The pizza's always pretty sad for the Philippines for me. And then anyway, then they have the balut stands down on the boulevard, and they eat the half-grown chickens. I like that. I eat them. In Alaska. We ate some strange foods in Alaska. I could eat raw seal liver. I could eat... We ate eggs that had babies for them, goose eggs and swan eggs and stuff. So I'm accustomed to that. I'm not squeamish at all. In fact, back in Alaska, my father-in-law, we'd go caribou hunting, and we'd knock down a few caribou, and we were butchering them. He'd skin out a piece of the skin, and we'd get to the liver. He'd pull the liver out and put it on the skin and slice it up and pull a salt shaker out of his pocket and like salt on it. And we'd eat the raw, warm caribou liver at 20 or 30 below. It was usually really cold. It was really good. It was crazy, but I loved it. It was good, warm, right out of the caribou. But anyway, back to the Filipino foods. They eat some strange things too. One time they eat the bagoong, that's the rotted down shrimp. One time my girlfriend and me were walking on the boulevard, and they sell those green avocado or green mangoes. They're just hard and green, and they cut them up into sections, and they sell them in little cellophane bags with a dipping sauce. Very common in the Philippines. They all eat them. They eat stands of them set up right next to each other. They all sell them. And my girlfriend bought some one time, and she handed it to me, and it's eating it, and I put it in this dipping sauce, and I didn't expect what it was, and I put the dipping sauce, and it was just a hard mango, crunch and hard. And then I taste the bagoong. I didn't realize that's what it was, and it was a really strong one. I couldn't eat it. I had to spit it out. I freaked out. I was kind of embarrassed myself. I shouldn't have done that. I feel bad about doing that. But I couldn't eat that. I'd never done that before. It just surprised me so much. I was like, I can't eat this. And it was the green mango and the bagoong. I could eat a bagoong. I've ate it before in the Anchorage. My brother's wife used to get it. We'd spread a little on rice, but I knew what it was then at the time, on eggs or something. It was good. So anyway, them are things they'll sell in the rural areas of Philippines too. When you go out, there'll be the bagoong stands. You'll be able to get those for street food, and like I'm saying. They'll have vegetables and fruit stands along the road, so if you can cook and you're set up to cook, it's pretty cheap. The veggies are real cheap. The fruits are pretty cheap too. They're getting kind of expensive. I see fruits a lot cheaper here in Thailand, much cheaper, like dragon fruit, pineapple. It's all cheaper here by far. I just bought a sack of mangoes here for 5 of them for $1.50. Whole big, beautiful mangoes, all ripe. Whole kilo, it looked like a kilo, 5 of them. For $1.50 here at the mall too, where everything's expensive. So yeah, and then here in Thailand, there's the food choice is just 10-fold better. You got a really good choice of street food, lots of it. It's all pre-packaged. You don't see flies on it. You don't see things sitting out of ice. They even ice the fruit when they'll sell you a cold pineapple and stuff. It's it's much better. In the Philippines, everything's hot. When you get it, the watermelon, they'll try to be selling watermelon stands. You bite into it, it's 90 degrees warm watermelon. It's really good. I can't eat it when it's warm. But here in Thailand, they know these street vendors are smart, and they put them in ice, and they'll sell them in ice. And it's really cold, good watermelon right off the streets. They're pretty good. They package all their food. All their foods are in little flip top cellophane packing thing, just like any restaurant would do. And they pack it all up so there's no dust and flies on it. And yeah, that's pretty good. Usually all the seafood is iced. Every time I see fish, it's iced. It's always taken care of here in Thailand. And the street food choices are just insane. You just can't go hungry here. Like I say, I gave up on the cooking. But then again, can you eat the food here? Because it's all spicy, all of it, just about everything. The Thai really don't spice their food when they're cooking it. They'll put marinades on it, or they'll have a dipping sauce for when it's already cooked. They'll give you some pork, and they'll give you like 2 or 3 different kinds of dipping sauce for it, and they're all hot and spicy or really sweet. Some are just pure sugar syrup, dipping into a molasses. One of them reminds me of molasses, just that thick too. And then others are just will light your mouth on fire, but they're really delicious sauces. But yeah, and then the marinades are all real spicy too. So that's another thing. Can you eat spicy food here in Thailand, or otherwise you're going to be at the McDonald's every day? They do have McDonald's and Burger King here. So there's good looking pizzas. I've seen some good looking pizzas here. I haven't tried any. Pizzas are real high carb. I haven't ate one in a while. I might try one of these days. But yeah, so far the Thai food, I haven't seen anything real strange that I couldn't eat. Other than being hot, everything I order at a like this Thai food restaurant across the road, I go there and I eat the squid or something. It's really, really hot. Even their sushi, they spice it up with that wasabi underneath, and then I dip it too, and oh boy, it'll clean your nostrils out. So yeah, I usually end up a runny nose while I eat dinner around here. And I'm getting used to it to where I like it. I really never liked spicy food before, but now being in Thailand for almost 6 months, I'm getting to like it. I can eat it. And I'd miss it if it was gone. I'd want something hot. Now I got my own bottle of hot sauce in the fridge here, so I use that. But yeah, so far I haven't had any strange experiences. Stuffed squids, I thought those were pretty strange, but they were good, really spicy inside. They chop up some, onions and garlics and put them in stuff some with something. I don't know what they are, but they were really good, big fat squids. I might order those again. So yeah, the Thai food's just a lot of seafood, and the seafood is really cheap here in Thailand. That's just another amazing thing. You can get anything cheap, pretty cheap, any kind of squids and fishes. They sell it all for under $5. You can get whole roast fish for about $3 or $4. Pretty cheap. So yeah, there's different food choices, but yeah, it's something different than what you're used to. If you're used to eating steak and mashed potatoes all the time or something, and homemade biscuits and pancakes and eggs for breakfast and syrup, you're going to be disappointed. They don't actually do that. In Asia, they eat dinners. They'll eat dinner food for breakfast. They'll eat fish soup for breakfast, whereas Americans will wake up, they won't eat fish soup for breakfast or pork adobo for breakfast, And that's what the Asians do. They wake up, it's just another meal. They're eating fish, you're watching chicken cooking and pork's roasting and everything right at that early morning at 5 in the morning again. And see, your appetite is toast and juice and pancakes and stuff. You're going to have a hard time. In fact, you ain't going to find it. You're going to have to cook it yourself. Even bacon. That's one thing I've had trouble finding, smoked bacon. You'll find all kinds of stripped pork. They strip it out all beautiful, but you'll never see any of it smoked. I don't know why, but I couldn't find it. I'm sure there must be some in some specialty shops, but I can never find it in the Philippines or here. I think they had it in the one shop in the Philippines, that specialty shop. I bet it was pretty expensive too. They were selling like $30 steaks and stuff, so I wasn't shopping there. I went in browsing a little bit, but yeah, they had some nice looking meat. The meat here in Thailand's fairly reasonable. You can go in and walk out with a decent looking raw steak out of the grocery store for about $5 or $4.50, $5. You can get a pretty good cut, but you have to cook it yourself again. I'm not set up to cook here, so I'm totally reliant on street food right now. And it's working out okay for me so far. I do hope to get a next place will have a kitchen to cook in, and I'll use it some, but I'm really not hurting. The street food, they cook much better than I can, and it's actually cheaper than I can buy it and cook it myself. So I just had to give in. That's all there is to it. But anyway, yeah, just be forewarned when your diet's going to change when you get here. Probably. I'd try to just stick with the protein and things you can identify. The protein, the seafood, everything's loaded with rice and carbs too, so you got to be careful of that. If you're watching your carbs, stay away from all the rice and noodles they're going to be shoveling at you. That's one thing that's every Asian, they're big on the rice and the noodles, and that'll get you. That's where the high carbs come from. So keep that in mind as well. But you can eat healthy here in Asia, man. Much more healthy than anywhere in the U.S. I would say that. You get choice of every vegetable and everything you could think of. When I was cooking in Dumaguete, I was getting Japanese pumpkins, man. They were good. Slice them up, boil them and put butter on them. I was eating them with steak every night. It was really good. I was eating good there. I like that too. So yeah, the Philippines food is good too. You know, even like I'm showing in this thumbnail, all them are chicken guts swirled on the sticks. Those are chicken guts. So, and they were good. They were my favorite. Whenever I would go out at night, I'd get about 4 of those and some other chicken meat and stuff, shish kebabs, and have those for dinner. And they made up a good hot sauce. They lathered them up with this good spicy sauce, and it was really good. I liked their sauce they made in the Philippines for those. But anyway, yeah, and I ate those just fine, no problem. I went out at night and I would eat those pretty regular. And they were cheap, really cheap. You could walk out of there in $1.50, and you bought half a dozen of them. That'll fill you up too. And they were good. Never got sick from any of them if you just know the right places to eat at. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be a challenge for your Western diet. Hopefully y'all adjust accordingly. And in certain areas, if you stick to certain areas, you can eat a lot of Western type food. The Asian they gear their food towards Europeans here. You see, like, their breakfasts are baked beans, a British breakfast with baked beans and stuff, which is weird to us Americans. But yeah, it's similar. They have sausages and stuff. A lot of Germans here, there's a lot of sausages around. You can get sausages, and the Thai eat them too. So, but yeah, it'll be a different challenge for you. But so far, I have no complaints coming from where I'm from. There was no food choices for me, no street food at all, none. So this is a great place to live. Cheap too. It's real cheap, I think. So yeah, expect a diet change when you hit Asia. Hopefully your stomach will handle it okay. Mine did okay. So yeah, you'll be okay. Watch the water. Don't drink the water. Stay away from that. You'll be okay. Watch where you buy your bottled water too. Make sure you get it from a store, not a road vendor. You might get tap water. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and share and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.